Hey, what's poppin', everybody? I hope y'all had a good day so far, and I hope the next couple hours of it is going to be spectacular as well. Anyway, I'm gonna get right into it. I don't really normally do the late night videos because I'll be on chill mode, but I had a couple things on my mind. I've been wrote a couple of them down, wrote, wrote down some thoughts, and oops, um, you know, thought I'd share them with you. See what you think. The introverted extrovert. Somebody made a comment about that in a video earlier, and that kind of got me to thinking. And I went to a. I'll share a little bit of insight before I get into what I got to say. I went to a. I went and got some incense and a piece of kyanite from this little spot right around in the next little town over on my bike ride, and the lady in the shop is a very, 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 very strong empath. And the last time I talked to her, she was digging into me about getting into me about my mother wound and some stuff like that. So this time I was on my meditation. I go down there to meditate, and yeah, it's a 13-mile bike ride, and I go to meditate. So anyway, long story, not as long as it could be. I went back again to grab some stuff, grab some incense and stuff, and I talked to her a hot second again, and we were talking, and she told me to start journaling. So I journal a lot. I mean, not a lot. I mean, I'm always writing songs and stuff like that. I consider that journaling. So I'm always writing something, but to just sit down and just, bleh, I don't really do that too often. It's always scripted. I'll say that much. Maybe, yeah, I'll leave it at that, scripted. But anyway, it's just like the one theme I've always had in my life is that um my one goal, like, I just love seeing people happy. That's it. That's it. That's it. I just love seeing people happy. And so when people aren't happy, this, of course, I'm a Leo too, so I'm a fixer. Leo slash Virgo. I'm a bridge baby. I was born on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. Um, so I've got a little bit of both, where I'm slightly chastising you while I'm helping you get your life together. But so anyway, yeah, I've always just, and I think the one thing that really gets me is people who take happiness, not receive it, people who take it, like vampires and shit, people who are energy vampires and stealing your, sorry, my backstage, apologies. There's people that are stealing your energy and shit like that. So, I've always been a person that doesn't play that. But I've also been a person that's been susceptible to it because I give two fucks. I care. I actually fucking care. And so I've been burnt quite a bit. I let people get to me. I've had some extensive damage caused by I shoot myself in the foot for being too loyal or being too forgiving or whatever else you want to call it. That's kind of what I've done. And it's like something you sit. I remember being a kid, and it's like, oh yeah, if I make them laugh, because I was always the weird friend. Yeah, go figure that. I mean, me weird. But anyway, I was always just like that kid. I was always funny. I was always the class clown, but I was always damn near one of the smartest kids in the class. So I felt like one hand washed the other. So I was always trying to do both, and I was always trying to, like, if the level of funny didn't match up with the level of intelligence I was expressing, which was high and 3 digits in some places, no decimal point in some classes. Like, I had to be on my shit all the fucking time, and I was performing so bad, and I was masking hard as a motherfucker, and I was always exhausted. Like I was always exhausted as a kid. I remember that. I'd be sitting there, and sometimes I would just fall the fuck out. Mike is taking a nap, and it would only be like maybe a 10-minute nap, and then boom, I'm gone. I'm out. 80s type shit. But no, and I carried that over into high school and obviously my 20s, and I sort of phased it out because I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I really don't give a damn what you think. I really don't care, and it it's still lingering a little bit because some of those things that you just certain bonds that are a little harder to break than others as far as that goes. If you're always in a people pleasing mood and you letting people get one extra, but like, and then guys, I know my homeboys, y'all can relate to this. Overextending yourself in relationships. It is what it is. That's what we do sometimes. When you love somebody, you do tend to overextend yourself, and you might let your boundaries down and things slide. And next thing you know, you want like some hardcore fucking enabling type shit, and that person is just running away with it because they're like, well, if that's what you're gonna let me do, the fuck, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna do it. What would you do? What would you, Dad? No, no. I don't need to. They don't need to know. What are you? Sorry. Hold a second. That has nothing. Okay. Newsflash. Yeah. If for those of you who are just starting to watch my videos, it gets weird. So, I got to slide this in here and don't get weird. Well, if you're going to get weirded out, it is what it is. You probably skip it over, whatever. But so one of the things that feeds people is not doing anything. That's what I'm not doing anything. Right. Yeah. So not doing anything. Like, you could be the coolest person in the fucking world, but if you just watch somebody steal niggas' happiness and you don't do nothing about it, you a punk. Okay. So like when I was growing up and I was having crushes on girls, and I thought, well, okay, so just for chronological context here, I was born in 77. So when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, 85, 86, 87, they good at night, got to slow it down. Ooh, watch out. And that's how you know what I'm saying? That's how you got the girls. Whereas it's a little different nowadays. But anyways, I could sing a little bit. I played the piano, I played the trumpet. I was like musically talented. Like I'm the Renaissance man at like 9 or 10 years old. What everybody wants, but don't nobody really want. Oh, I want somebody that's smart. I want somebody that's funny. I want somebody that's handsome. Yeah, I think I look good too. I was handsome too back then. I was a little chubby, but I still popped it off. You know what I'm saying? But and this guy, and he could talk to me, and I was all of that. All of that, a fucking empath, like to the nth degree. Didn't really know what it was really all about, but I just know I was really cool listening to people talk about their shit, and girls would talk to me about their shit, and then it would be like, "Oh, you're such a good friend," and I'm sitting there like, "Girl, I'm trying to kiss you up under the bleachers at the football game on Friday. Come on, man, what's going? Like, what are we really doing here?" And so. And that's another thing, always be a gentleman and she'll be not. No, that doesn't necessarily always happen. Even back then, when men were more chivalrous and more gentlemanly, and we had examples of what it was like to be a positive man, and be a good man, like pillar of the community type shit. And so even back then, it wasn't. You were still susceptible to, because the girls had the Cinderella fantasy. So of course they feed into that, and they're like, well, you don't fit into that, like, but you're not brave, and you're not running around fighting dudes, and like, so I was an anomaly. And I feel like even nowadays there are a lot more people who are in that sort of like, I'm not a violent person, but I'm prone to violence. Put me in the right situation, I'm prone. Anyway, that's beside the point. Back to topic. Vampires. Energy. Making people happy. What it takes to not be a people pleaser. Like there was always that one thing that not only me, but a lot of people think is going to keep us in the good graces a little bit longer. And it really fucking don't. I got to do something about that. But it really don't keep us in their good graces at all. What it really does is just prolong their sustenance and our agony at the end of the day. Because when it all is said and done, like, what's you gonna do? Okay, so you're at work and your boss needs somebody to work late. The team lead comes up to you and is like, hey, listen, man, do you think you could work over for like 4 hours, and then you know we need somebody to work over? And you're like, yeah, bet that. In your mind, you're like, okay, well, you want to be dependable. You need to there's a little extra little chunk of money in your pocket, decent little something, 4 hours. You do that 3 or 4 times a week. Bam, you in some nice overtime. They don't care. They don't fucking care. You're just that nigga that day that they can get a little more sustenance from. So, we can go through all types of scenarios on what it looked like. And, so it's just like, we do a lot of things for people that we just want to see happy. When the company's successful, we're successful. When our significant other is happy, and we may, even if we don't contribute to that, even if we're not contributing to that, we still get the benefits of a happy spouse, happy house, all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that, and a lot of people, we lean on that. Like, well, I don't want to be not happy. I don't want to be unhappy. So if I'm happy and I feel like I can project my happiness onto other people, then we can all be happy, and then I can get some of that happiness back, and we can get like that happiness symbiotic relationship type shit popping off, and everybody will just be fucking happy. Nah, man. Don't you start laughing at me. Look, where do you think sound came from? Well, but I didn't make it up. I just started doing it when I was a little kid. And so, it's not always like a priority to put other people's best interests in front of your own. It'll fuck you up. It'll fuck you up. And that's just, it's like, here's the one thing I'll say. It's not all bad. I'll say it's 60-40 to the bad, because it definitely ain't 50-50 or 60-40 to the good. There's some decent people in the world, but I don't think it's an overwhelming majority. I'm just a realist. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there that will manipulate you, and sometimes they don't even realize. You ain't even going to let me get the punchline out. I hate it when he comes. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Yeah, that shit. That there's a lot of people out there in the world that just don't know that they're energy vampires. They think, oh, well, we got a cool relationship. I love talking to him. He listens to me all the time and he's so thoughtful with his responses. Like, for no cap, that's what they think is going on. And that's exactly what's going on. But underneath it all, there's a parasitic relationship taking place that they're not even aware of, that they're the parasite. And you can't even be mad at them because they're actually decent people. NPCs, sometimes they're just regular, good old people with souls. Like NPCs are what, anyway, if you get it, you get it. I'm not explaining. I shouldn't have to. It's fuck 2020. So I'm 48 years old. Shit. Anyway, like there's so many things about these types of relationships with people that is really confusing, because on one hand, if you're the kind of person like me and you actually see it coming and you're just like, man, you can kind of soften the blow by realizing that they're not under their own power or their own will. They're not, the thoughts they're having that is making them move, their motivations are not their own. They're being used. A lot of the times it's people being possessed by spirits, demons, dark energy. And yeah, I put it out there. I don't fuck around. Like that's one thing. As an empath, I do not fuck around. If I need to say something, I'm gonna say it. There are a lot of people out here who do not realize they are possessed by dark entities, and that they are the ones that are siphoning off the energy. The people ain't even getting no benefit out of it. They might be able to, get some free therapy out of your ass or something, which is fine by me. I'm okay with that. But I understand the mechanisms underneath the whole conversation while we're having the conversation. So it's important to know that, because that's how you can block. That's how you got to block shit. And be able to talk about it. Say, hey, if you can name it, you can tame it. If you can, that's my thing. If you can name it and you see what's going on and you can observe what's happening, be like, oh, okay, well, they're just caught in a trauma loop, and they don't realize that they're just regurgitating shit out of response because they're still looking for help, and they see me. So now you have the information to make a better decision and respond appropriately regarding this person in your life. And sometimes you just got to put them where they belong, and that's out. The fuck out your life. Like I said, I'm a realist and I'm happy, and I'll be doing all kind of crazy shit, and I'm very much into alignment. But here's the thing. Even trees shed leaves to survive. Yes, I'm stopping. It's your boy Shifu. I'll holler at you when I see you. I'll talk to you soon.